Hi guys, I'm Teddy and this is CarPlay once again, and this is our devastating CL600, which we're about to put the manual transmission we mentioned about in the previous episode. So as you can see, the day begins right now, and we'll try to start it on and drive to the service shop and continue so on. Let's go. And as I say devastating, I mean it, because nothing, for real, almost nothing in this car works as it should and it's meant to be. Neither the keyless, neither the central locking system. So instead we get back to the 1960s and we use the metal key to unlock it and start it, which is pretty hilarious. Alright, time for a wakey for our neighbors. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. And here it goes, nothing. And one last thing, just to check in the old classic Bulgarian way, if the battery has any juice in it or not. We do just this thing. No. It's that. I see hydraulic suspension is stuck on its impossible low stuck position. But now it looks like it has a stage 3 lowering kit, at least. It looks fast, but that's not working for us. Not at all. So as you can see, this is one of my favorite pieces of junk, the Jaguar STR, which is one of the last ones before they become Ford and further on owned by Tata, India. Also known as a cheap alternative of the BMW M5 E39, which was actually never was coming to performance or quality, but anyways, it had pretty good performance figures, which I'll let you know in a few seconds. Let's make a close start of the car so you could get aware of it and what is it capable of. Alright, so it's a wakey time for my neighbors. I know they love it. Alright, and just to check if the cables are alright and we have electricity on them so that we could use the CL, we can do this check by the old Bulgarian way, which is this one. No? What the hell? Jesus. No. Oh. They're dead. What the hell, man? Someone's opening their window. Unhappy. But come on. Oh, all right, the magical trick. You short circuit the electricity cables, you boost the battery, and somehow the central locking appears to be working for a short period of time, for a while. Okay, CL, that's nice. Let's abandon you once again for some time. Apparently, as you can see, this is not a typical car for my taste or for Danny's or anyone on the channel. We all prefer German or specifically Mercedes, but this car is personally mine, and what grabbed me when I saw it online for sale was the supercharged V8. I used to have Mercedes with the standard M71 4 cylinders, which have nothing to do with this. And this is, so to speak, let's say a entry-level super limousine from the 2000s, which is, in my opinion, one of the best ages for car manufacturing engineering. As of what you see in the future moments, the interior, the quality and everything which was integrated in this car is pretty fascinating compared to any other car in the next maybe 10 years, so on, from 2003 further on. And this car in particular was from an owner who was its second owner since brand new, and he clocked only 10,000 kilometers for the last 7 years. He was a dude who owned or worked at a weapons factory and he just used it to drive from his villa to the factory and back, and that's it. He had the full history of the car covered. He has all the papers, all the proof for the mileage and so on. It's on actual 185,000 kilometers and so. But as well, it's a Jaguar. All the problems come with it immediately, hand to hand. You know about this, and especially for the British cars. That's why I have not one, but two handheld diagnostics for the car if one fails to catch up the other, so that I could drive the car. When I bought it from him, it was faultless, it had no issues, but even from the road back to Sofia, as he was in the province, I started to give errors for a bad knock sensor, which I thought could be from the low electricity because it was a dead battery, it wasn't driven for 3 weeks and so on. And I thought, hey, it will charge on the road back, it will get better, and so it did actually. It managed to do this, and while I was driving it daily for a week, it was okay. And then the thing started, because on day one, actually, I removed the catalytic converters, I removed the resonators, I removed the mufflers, which is classic and a must do for car plaque, you know, whenever the car is over 6 cylinders. And then after a week of driving, it came out with oxygen sensors, which is normal, but nobody could shut them off, at least here in Sofia, Bulgaria. They didn't have the appropriate software. Now I found a service shop to do this, but meanwhile, I was driving it with this error, cleaning the error with the diagnostics all the time, full time, in order to drive it not in a restricted performance mode, which is typical for those Jaguars. They're pretty sensitive to this kind of stuff when you do to them. They get it as a harm. And now we also have a CL flashing on the dashboard, once again for the oxygen sensor, saying it keeps giving a constant misfire. Oops, sorry, you can see the ride height and the comfortness of the stiff suspension. It keeps giving a constant misfire on cylinder number 2 for no obvious reason, at least to me, but I'm not that familiar with these cars. Anyways, I changed all the coil packs, I changed the spark plugs, and there was no change in this. But whenever the car gets a bit warmer, I mean to a working temperature, it kind of appears that this misfire goes away. The car runs almost faultlessly, but once again you feel that lacking of, I don't know, maybe 40, 50-ish horsepower for no obvious reason. So we're about to find this out soon. All right, we got some fuel in there. Gas cap is apparently broken. Stands off, open all the time. Hope some kids from the neighborhood don't put any sugar in the tank or anything else. Here we go. Thankfully we got the manual mode for the transmission, and the pattern of the gear shifter is pretty cool, which is standard for all the Jaguars. It's cool, it's different. Alright, there's a bit of dense traffic. It's almost 8:30. Wakey, wakey time, guys. No more sleep for you. It's Friday. I haven't mentioned the 6-pot Brembo brake calipers, which tend to catch amazingly good, guys. Amazingly good. I mean, yeah. Sorry, Danny. I love them. For real. I just love the brakes of this car. Oops. Okay. It's never late to brake with this car. Oh, there's a facelift model. What a coincidence. But I don't like it that much. If it's the R version as well, I mean, the looks of the car pretty much changed. Not that drastic or not that aggressive. It's not my thing, to be honest. The lady liked it. You saw her face. Maybe we could possibly remap the car somewhere, add pops and banks, and remove the hard cut limiter. But I'm still curious. I mean, I'm wondering about it, if this will not decrease the value of the car and ruin it, because, I mean, it's not a Mercedes, it's not a, I don't know, that massive car. It's something specific, and maybe we will fuck up the authenticity of the car, which I don't want to do. I mean, I have respect to every car, every builder, every engineer standing behind it, and so on. So I'm in kind of a dilemma. If you have any opinions on it, guys, you can share it in the comments below. And yeah, share it with us, because your opinion matters to us. Also, I researched it as every car I get. You know, the first thing is a straight pipe exhaust, then a manual transmission, then a remap, pops and bangs and this kind of stuff. There is a transmission as well for this car, as well as for the CL, which bolts on directly to the engine, but here nobody could teach the ECU that the car is working with a manual transmission, so it will be constantly in error mode, limp mode. See that? The speed bump? I was going like 50 through it. The car is on spring suspension, not on air, but the ride quality is amazing. I mean, it's not shaking like a bolt, meanwhile it keeps extreme stability on corners, on inclines, downclines, and anything. But when it goes through potholes or any obstructions on the road, it is incomparable. I love it. I haven't driven any other car with a standard suspension with this kind of ride quality. For real. Time to brake. No, full gas. Okay, it's normal to jump at 80, but until 50 is alright. It's absolutely alright. There's nothing that could go wrong. It's pretty bad that the supercharger is from the factory silenced. I mean, which is normal by the manufacturer standards. But when I have a supercharged V8, I want it to whine like the STR McLaren, like the SVT Cobra, and anything which has a big ass supercharger and a big ass capacity V8 engine. And flat. I wanted to point out at the infotainment navigation system, or however anyone calls it, which is pretty advanced, pretty futuristic for its time. As you might have known, this model was produced since year 2001 to 2009, 2010 or something. And it's touchscreen, as if you can see. You control everything with your fingers, as well as the climate control, the navigation, the audio, the settings, absolutely everything. Which for that age, I don't think it was surpassed by any other car manufacturer or that anyone else offered it. Even until nowadays, guys. I mean, look at the flagmans of all the German automotive producers. Look at the Audi A8, at the S-Class, at the BMW 7 Series. I mean, they implemented this only in the A8 D5, which was from 2017, I believe, further on. Not in the S-Class, not in the 7 Series, nowhere. And this is a low-class car. I mean, not to compare with it with its others from its class, because they're much worse than that. But anyways, it's in the Range Rovers from 2012 further on, like this. And there is I think, a mistake with all of this, because whenever this screen fails or anything with the modules or electronics, you lose your AC, you lose the navigation, you lose almost everything because it's controlled by the screen. So as every other thing, it has ups and downs. You can see the classical Jaguar, which you can see how gently it glances. Oops. Okay, that was not gentle. Sorry. Sorry, Jaguar. Oh, my poor baby. You could just carefully shift through all the gears. You have the manual mode, which starts from second, we split it in sport, and on direct, you start from first gear. And this is a classic. You can see also the R for the top version of the Jaguar, indicated here on the shifter. And also the parking brake, which you heard a few seconds ago that it's failed, and we're on a downhill, and that's why the transmission kicked us a bit hard in the ass. One, not that hidden feature, but useful back in the days, is to have this Motorola integrated phone. So you could call the dealer of Jaguar Range Rover or the service shop and just curse them for the piece of shit they sold to you. They charge you thousands of pounds, dollars, euros for repairs, and this thing keeps breaking on. Goodbye. And just a quick glance at this Copart S550 4MATIC Mercedes from 2009. I just bought together with another car, which we'll review in the next episode. But mainly, what I want to point here is that this one owner, genuine 80,000 miles Mercedes, also known as the S500 here in Europe. The engine is absolutely the same, the successor of the M113, which is the M273, which unfortunately is a successor, but didn't bring any good success for the owners of these cars, as I used to have one already with it, and these engines tend to explode, which you'll see in the future, in a few moments later. But anyways, I imported this car just because I bought it impulsively, and I'll be selling it. I don't need a limousine, but it's good. I wanted to try, I wanted to experiment, to get something from there, because as a YouTube and people who live there and had experience with them, I know that this could be some new challenge with me, for me, and this is it. Bye.